you got to feel that your offense did score enough to win today. And just to start off with on a positive note, did you like what you saw from the offense? Would you like to see anything different?
Well, I did think that we were competitive against him for the most part. I thought we got emotional there. When Cole struck out, I thought we got a little bit carried away. Cole strikes out, and I thought the next 4 or 5 at-bats were a little big, overswinging, and kind of gave some away there. And then we kind of got locked back in against the reliever that came in and did a better job. So, probably 6 or 7 of the innings, probably closer to 6, I thought were really a pressure offense-oriented things that we had been trending more towards, and I was pleased with. But we have to be able to play a complete 9 against a good team like that. But I would agree that offensively, for the most part of the night, we did a pretty good job, and we gave ourselves a chance to win on the offensive side of the ball. I would agree with that. I was pleased for the most part there.
Tom and Aaron.
Yeah, you've hung your hat on pitching and defense all year, and tonight, the 3 errors were all on very routine plays. 300 runs, really 4. It's against a team like this, that's a lot to kind of overcome in one shot, isn't it?
Yeah, we spotted them, just like you said, we spotted them 4. Then we had 3 leadoff walks to start an inning and a leadoff error. And then the 3 errors, one just a click at first base on the routine ball. And then the ball gets under Morgan, and obviously the one to Tank. So when you spot somebody 4 runs against a really good team that's fundamental and they feast on that, they have a really good offense to do a great job. They're very well coached, but they feast on your mistakes. And we spent a lot of time working on that and practicing those things and talking about it and trying to prepare ourselves for it. And we didn't do a good enough job of limiting their opportunities. If you make them square up and play and hit and play baseball, they're a more beatable team, as all teams are. But when you give them opportunities, man, they're really good at that. We knew it going in, and when we did it, we did exactly what we couldn't do, and gave them too many opportunities to find a way to get you.
Aaron and Griffin.
Coach, has there been any thought of moving the rotation around? Obviously, it wasn't all Tommy's fault today, but he did give up a lot of hard contact, and there were a couple balls there that were nearly home runs that may have been on another day with the wind blowing in. I mean, you had a lot of issues with the defense, but sometimes the best guy goes Friday, sometimes they don't. Is there any thought, because Summer has the highest ERA in the team, of moving the rotation around?
No, Tommy's been terrific. Tommy's a guy that has led the charge for us all season, and we trust Tommy. And if there ever were come a time, then we would discuss that more further. But that's not right now, and we trust Tommy to do that. And I do think that for the most part, we've played good defense throughout the course of the year, especially with a lot of young guys being in there. So we have to be better. We have to continue to go out and compete and take care of the ball and force guys to earn it more so than we did tonight. But no, there hasn't been any discussion with Tommy, and feel good about Tommy leading the weekends off for us.
Griffin, and then back to Tom.
Yeah, Coach, you had trouble with errors as well in the Ohio State series, which was kind of, another big series against a big-time opponent. Is there anything mental or emotional kind of that you talk about, or that your guys going and knowing it's a big-time series and just kind of making these careless errors?
Yeah, there's not necessarily anything that we do any differently. I think anytime that you have a heightened emotional situation, you're more apt to make potential mistakes, and we have in those moments. But overall, we've been a good defensive team. It's been a great focus for us. So I'm confident we'll be able to go out and do a better job tomorrow. So, yeah, it's a good question, and it's one that should be asked. But there's not a whole lot for us to do differently besides continue to practice and push and be aware of those moments and then do the best that we can to be able to compete in those moments.
Tom and Carl.
2 questions for you. One, you got the bullpen kept you in the game. I mean, those guys, it seemed like they all really came in through well. You talk about the bullpen, and then also if you could talk about McCade going tomorrow. He obviously had last weekend off. What his week's been like, and what you expect from him?
Yeah, the bullpen's been terrific. It's been a strength for us all year. It's allowed us to get starters out when we feel like they're at the end of their outing and not have to extend or push them. And it seems like each week we've kind of added a new arm. Braden Scott was really good today. It's good to have him really back in the fold. Reese Sharp was outstanding, really overpowering stuff, and Braden Tucker did a fine job too. So a ton of confidence in the pen, and we'll continue to go to those guys as soon as we feel like they are the optimal option, which is earlier in games for us than maybe for some other teams having so much confidence in those guys. And McCade feels good. I talked to him today. McCade feels good. Good bullpen this week, ready to go. So they've continued to work and adjust like they do for all the starters and all the arms throughout the course of their work weeks. But we have had more time to have a work week just because the way the schedule fell last weekend, he didn't have an opportunity to throw. So feels good. I'm confident about McCade to go out and give us a good start. And then obviously we feel good about the bullpen. Those guys will all be up at some point again this weekend and still have several more arms that we really like.
All right, wrap us up, Carl.
Are you having too many concerns about some of your left-handed hitters against left-handed pitching?
Yeah, that's always a point of concern anytime those guys are going to face those guys. So you're right. All you can do is continue to expose them. You know, a lot of the spin ball machine, a lot of the VR stuff, a lot of offset BP, a lot of work. You do the best that you can to prepare those guys to be able to hit against a good lefty. You know, for a perfect example is Grant Richardson. Not the first two at bats he wants to have, but he's got a guy on second and third, an 0-2 count, and he's got to just simplify and be tough and put a ball in play and score a run. And he was able to do that. So, as a left-handed hitter in an uncomfortable at bat, you just got to be as tough as you can and find a way to put a ball in play or compete. And you look at Tank. Tank hits 2 balls on the nose, one hop with the shortstop, one hop with the third baseman, and a foot or two either way, and he's got a couple of base hits. So you just have those guys. They have to go out and compete, and they're in there. Not just for their offense, they're in there, for their defense and their ability to play the complete game. But it is hard. It's hard for those guys. So you try to pick your spots and have good matchups. Today, the splits were actually a little more positive for left-handed hitters. We felt like we had a chance with Van Pelt in there to be competitive, and he's going to put the ball in play for the most part and give you a chance to. He gets down the line really well, give you a chance to get a hit or two out of him. And once the situation, we felt like it changed a little bit. We went to Scrine and then ultimately to Vicrumba in a big situation. Ethan comes up coming off the bench and does a really good job, stings the ball right at the shortstop, a foot either way, and you got a base hit and 2-run score, and he's on base, and away we go. So you just got to keep preparing them. You got to keep pushing them and hoping that they're able to continue to be productive in those situations.